In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to solve and graph inequalities. So we have a couple key things here that we need to know for when we're solving and graphing inequalities. First of all, we need to know that when we graph these, we use an open circle, so kind of like this, an open dot, to graph less than or greater than sign. So if your problem has one of those two inequality signs, then we're using an open dot when we graph it. We use a closed dot or like a filled in dot like this to graph less than or equal to or greater than or equal to signs. So the type of dot that you use on your graph depends on which of these signs your equation has. When we solve inequalities, it is very similar to solving equations with one difference. And the one difference is that if we multiply or divide our inequality by a negative number, we must flip the inequality sign. Okay, so this right here, this is the one difference in solving inequalities versus equations, that if we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality sign. All right, so now that we know that, let's take a look. These first two examples we don't have to solve, we are just gonna graph. So first we are graphing this inequality, x is less than 3. So we've got a number line here, and first we need to label our number line. So we know 3 needs to be on it. And you should always label at least every other tick mark. So I'm just gonna go by ones and I'll label that this is 5 and 1 is down there. So I have kind of an idea. So this is the very minimum you could show on your number line. You could show more. You could show 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so now we're ready to graph. So our graph needs to show that x is less than 3. So we are going to put our dot at 3. And because this is a less than symbol without the line underneath, this has to be an open circle. So you can see I graphed an open circle at 3. And now we need to show that x is not only 3, but it's anything less than that. So I need to have an arrow here pointing towards everything less than 3. So that is how we would graph the inequality x is less than 3. On this second one, we're graphing the inequality x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So again, I need to get some numbers on my number line. So I'm going to have negative 2, negative 1, 0, and then in this direction, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. And since we have greater than or equal to negative 2, my circle goes at negative 2, and since this has that or equal to sign, I need to fill in my dot. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my dot. And now we're looking at that symbol. That symbol is greater than or equal to. So I need to show an arrow going from the dot to everything greater than negative 2. So that would be going towards the right in this case. So that graph there shows you that x is greater than or equal to negative 2. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we are going to solve and graph this inequality. So before we graph it, we are going to solve for x. And like I said, this is going to be almost identical to solving equations, except that we have to watch out if we ever multiply or divide by a negative number, we flip our sign. So let's go ahead. So we're following SADMEP just like we did for two-step equations. So first I get rid of any addition or subtraction. So we have 2 being added to the variable, and we're going to subtract to get rid of it. So on the left, that leaves me with 3x. I'm going to bring down my sign just like I would my equal sign. So 3x is less than, and over here, negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. Okay. My last step is I need to divide by 3 to cancel out my multiplication. I'm dividing by 3. Okay, some of you are wondering if we have to flip our sign. We do not, because we're dividing by a positive. It's only when we multiply or divide by a negative that we would flip our sign. So I go ahead and cancel. On the left, I'm left with just x is less than, and on the right side, negative 6 divided by 3 leaves me with -2. So I'm graphing the inequality x is less than -2. So on your number line, you can go ahead and fill in some spots. And I'm going to put my dot at -2. Since this does not have the or equal to sign, it's going to be an open dot. And this is saying less than -2, so my arrow needs to go towards the left, showing everything less than -2. All right, we're going to try one more problem here together. So in this problem, we have -5/6x minus 1 is greater than or equal to positive 14. So in this one, the first thing that we need to do, again, we're following SADMEP, so we need to cancel out any addition or subtraction first. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cancel this -1 by adding 1 on both sides. And when I do that on the left, I have this -5/6x is greater than or equal to 15. Next, I need to cancel out this -5/6 that's being multiplied by x. So to cancel multiplication, we divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by -5/6. If you don't like dividing by a fraction, you can also think of this as multiplying by the inverse. So you could multiply by -6/5 if you don't like that division there. But since we have our calculators, I don't think dividing by a fraction should be any big deal. On the left side, those cancel. That's doing the opposite. So x is, we got to be careful here. In this case, we just divided by a negative, so we have to flip our sign. So now x is less than or equal to, and over here, 15 divided by -5/6 gives you -18. All right, so we are ready to graph now. So I'm going to go and fill in some spots on my number line. And we're going to put our dot here at -18. Since we have that or equal to, we need to fill in, we need to have a solid dot. And this is a less than or equal to, so my arrow needs to point towards the left to show everything less than or equal to -18 is a solution. All right, that's all for the examples in this video. I do have a problem here for you guys to try tonight. So go ahead and solve and graph this inequality on a number line. If you're able to finish it, that's great. If not, remember you should have a question in your notes so that you can get some help tomorrow.